This meeting is being recorded.
All right.
Can I?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. Sense of touch provides us with the boundaries where I end and the outer world begins, and the security of knowing that we are safe in our own bodies.
Yeah, just hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to understand this, the sense of touch.
Mm.
You know, when I reach out and touch the shelf or the wall or anything, that is to an extent I can go. And the skin also provides that. Skin is sense of touch. And that is also the outer boundary of my inner organs. So somewhere it gives you the feeling where I end and the outer world begins. So that is the demarcation that the skin produces. And the security of knowing that we are safe in our bodies. So even when I touch something outside, then if something is pricky or hot or something, I suddenly withdraw because I need to be safe within my own zone. And children learn by the sense of touch in the first stage of child development. Sense of touch is the first one to be developed. That's why they touch anything and everything. And we don't like it because we have prejudices, but children will touch and they also taste it. You know, that is how they kind of know what it is and eventually build their own memories based on that. So we need to be definitely creating an environment where children will have a lot of touches. That's when the bad touch is also very traumatic because the memory is associated with it. So they all get linked with one another. So be aware of this fact. All right, continue.
Disturbed sense of touch, the fearful, timid, worried child. Lack of sense of security, fear of new experiences and the future, fear the thresholds, going to bed at night, going to school, getting ready for school. Tendency to get stuck in the familiar, to whine and manipulate to avoid what he or she does not want to do. Often verbal, thin-skinned, pale, can be rich in fantasy and imagination. Tendency to bronchitis, asthma, skin rashes, bladder infections. Strong affinity to festivals, rituals, and beautiful things. Difficulty creating a social boundaries.
Yeah, these symptoms that we are listing kind of are mixed up, and it's kind of difficult to understand at the very beginning. You know, we say disturbed sense of touch, and then we say the fearful, timid, worried child. Lack of sense of security is something we understand. Fear of some things we understand. But then we go into strong affinity to festivals, which may be a good thing, or rituals and beautiful things. You know, that's tendency to get attached and stay with something that feels secure. And we must also understand here, you know, most of this sexual offenders, perpetrators, you know, we have heard about stories where children were lured with chocolates and then they were carried away. Something that they get attached to is what gets taken advantage of. So look at it, think about it, and for every situation that we may have felt a lack of sense of security, let's say we are traveling on the night train in a 3-tire bogie, are we feeling secure? Maybe if I have a group of people with me, I feel secure. But if I'm alone and if kind of a stranger comes in the opposite berth, I can't even sleep. Maybe I will sleep. So just test out all these different situations that may have happened to us and relate it to when you got that sense of insecurity. Maybe the first time you tried, you fell off, maybe, by the pool. You were walking, you didn't realize the pool was deep and you fell into the pool. That was a new experience for you. Then there is a fear associated with that any new experience there onwards. Not all of us have it. Some of us are daring, we go back and do it again. See, this falling into new experiences, getting out of my comfort zone, getting out of my boundary and experience something new. Thresholds, fear of thresholds, fear of height. Many adults have it. Many phobias we have. You name it, we have it. And some of us express it very openly. Many of us, at least the psychology, people who have studied psychology, psychiatry, have given them very nice names. Claustrophobia, so many other phobias. So look at each one of them and don't consume everything at one go. Every one point is worth spending quite a bit of time and reflect it. It'll be nice if you can post questions and we can discuss about it. But even otherwise, just think about it. All right.
Underlying condition: lack of sense of protection, suffers from a soul wound, does not feel at home in his or her own body as a foundation of security in life, fears abandonment.
Yeah. I mean, all of these we have. I mean, definitely with the children who were adopted, there is a deep sense of abandonment. And no matter what the adopted parents do, they just can't get over it. Or if my parents preferred one of my siblings versus me, there's a fear of abandonment. While these may have been true for the child because they didn't have any other means at that point of time, and they developed some kind of a survival mechanism, that soul wound persists in us as adults, and we don't feel at home. Suddenly we are in some new situation and I don't want to talk. I don't know how to talk. I can't ask questions. There's so many things that hold us back. And if anything has happened to me, it's very probable that even children will experience it. So the whole game of why we are doing what we are doing is to recognize what has happened to me and how it has created a soul wound in me, and to somewhere heal it so I can tell the child, it's okay, it has happened to you, but you can move ahead and you don't have to suffer unnecessarily. So though we say it's adventures in parenting, it's adventures in self-parenting, which is healing. All right.
Important inner qualities for the parent or teacher: deep pressure activities, massage, blanket wrap, joint compressions, care for the skin, oils, baths and touch, natural fiber clothing, cultivation of tactile sensing of qualities, protective gesture in early evening or bedtime, attitude of a gentle firmness and form, devoted care of environment through gardening, bedroom, house, conversation with the child about what is going to happen before it takes place, what will happen the next day, for example.
Yeah. So the last one is very important. Conversations or preparing the child for what is going to come into their space. Many a times we adults just don't worry about it because we know we have to get things done. I know it is good for you, good for me, good for the family. And that's all we can do right now due to either the number of vacation I have, the amount of money I have, whatever that is, it's all in my head. And then we say, children, get ready, let's go. And children may be in another mode. They may want to just lie down. They may be tired. They want to read. They want to watch their favorite show. They probably want to go out and play. And suddenly it's all disturbed for them. If you have a sanguine child, maybe they're all excited about the change that you're bringing in. But if you have a melancholic child, they'll be supremely disturbed. Choleric children will demand, why are you doing what you are doing? And phlegmatic child may play along as long as it's comfortable, whether at home or outside. So conversations become extremely important, especially if you have children who have a hard time waking up in the morning, getting ready to go to school, or they have a hard time putting their things away after they come back from school and begin to study or whatever. So you set a rhythm where you keep repeating that this is what we do. We have our dinner, then we brush our teeth, we read a book together, then we go to bed. And you wake up in the morning, and to prepare them mentally, you also lay out their uniform, their books, whatever that is required for the next day. So there is no hangover about that. And you're already kind of mentally prepared. And you're going to wake up, you're going to brush your teeth, you're going to do this and that. You set that up. And the same thing when you're shifting, when you're moving, when you have people coming over to your house, or there is a major event happening that you may be gone, whatever that is, conversations become extremely important. For children until about 7, this is the rhythm that you set up. For children over 7, over 6 almost, you have a daily conversation with your children about even how your day was. Share your pitfalls, share your success stories, share when you got angry or when you were upset and how did you deal with it. These are all very important life skills for children. And all those inner qualities that are listed, with physical touches. So children develop, because it's a sense of touch, deep massage, blanket wrap is some things we do in world of schools, where if the child is feeling out of place or very jittery or they cannot hold their hands and legs tight, you just wrap them. It's a game that we play. We wrap ourselves so we kind of hold our body together close to the body and kind of feel them, and then you're let out. Then you do blanket wrap again and you let out. It's a game. And because they're sensitive to touch, natural fiber clothing, which is healthy, as well as children may be irritated to anything not natural. So anything to do with gardening, bedroom, house, it's all upkeeping. Earth element is what we have to get them grounded, to touch the earth, feel the water, organize, the pressure that we have to put, so they develop the sense of touch. Some people you may have observed, they don't understand the distance between two people or the comfortable distance between two people. They just come so close to you and you get so irritated, and you just can't push them away. I mean, they come back again to you. They don't understand it. I mean, even adults, and especially with adults, we have high expectations that they must have some common sense. Well, they don't have that bodily sense. It's like almost like a blind person, hitting them against a wall, and we say, can't you feel the wall? They can't. And it's very difficult to accept it. But with children, we begin doing these games, activities, pressure, push, pull, put those heavy stomps and develop the balance on one foot, all those kinds of things. So children begin to develop the sense of touch. All right.
Yeah, actually, I can visualize this in my house only, and that is okay. And when we went for the training session also, first day when I started that songs, and different variations and all, they're not able to hold their hands. And I was feeling like there is a disconnection, because they have to go in a spiral, and if they are not holding it, and that will not be completed. So first day it was for them also, it was so uncomfortable for them also. I understood that. And when second day, third day, then fourth day they started. then it was for me also like feeling like it is continuously it is coming and all. Maybe they were also not comfortable holding their hands
Yeah.
because we don't know.
Yeah. See, some may be sweaty and we don't like, some may have
Yeah,
rough palms, we don't like it. Somebody may be too soft. So we are
yeah,
sensitive to so many things. I mean, the minute you start paying attention,
yeah,
you will see how many things that we are sensitive about: the words, the sounds that we hear, the temperatures, the fabric, the food, the color, the presentation. You know, if it is not served in a particular way, some people just won't eat,
yes,
right?
yeah,
So it's again sense of touch, because you have to touch that food to be able to put it in your mouth, and you just can't do it. I mean, children typically with any slimy vegetables,
correct.
they just don't want to touch it.
Yeah,
You know, so it's not by force that we can teach them. And you know, many a times you do that. You have to eat it.
read.
And I have seen children who are forced to put it in their mouth and then they vomit.
Yeah,
You know, so any of this, like we talked at probably at the very beginning, anything that we see as a misbehavior, deviation from the so-called norm. Again, I don't know what is norm, because norm for me is different from what could be the norm for you. Right? Slimy fruits are norm for me, not for you. So what is norm? I don't know. But anytime you see somebody not very comfortable within their own bodies, then they need to look a little deeper inside. I have my own problems. I've never been able to resolve it, never been able to accept it either. I don't know what that is. And then that's when Steiner is very helpful. You know, he says it's incarnation, karma baggage that we have carried. So it's
yeah,
something that I did in my previous life that I'm carrying now, and I've forgotten what that was. And yeah, okay, let it come to me whenever it is supposed to come to me. But at least I need to make sure that I take certain precautions, that I don't suffer. That's all I can do.
correct.
So if I don't like sleeping on the berth, but I have to travel by the train, then let me carry some wet wipes. Let me carry my own sheet. Let me carry
Yeah,
my own sprays and whatnot. Cleanse it and sleep there.
correct.
But there are people who would not travel, or they would take their own vehicle and drive for 18 hours
Yeah,
because they don't want to sleep on that berth.
yeah,
Then it's a hassle, right? So the extreme situation is what we need to manage.
hey, most of the time I don't know. Maybe everybody they discussed with their husband also. Most of the time I'm discussing with my husband, saying that his look is not good. How can you say it?
Yeah,
I cannot explain it.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I feel somewhat whenever he is talking to me, I'm sensing it. He's whatever the way he's seeing me, I'm uncomfortable. I cannot explain this. How can you say that? Every time it is like a discussion with me and my husband. See, ladies, maybe we are having that type of sense. I don't know how to explain it, but we'll get that. How I don't know how to explain
Yeah,
it.
you kind of understand it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I think most of the ladies, I feel. I don't know about others, but I feel like whenever I'm talking to my friends, also that discussion, whenever it is coming, so they are also saying yes, we are also like sometimes we
yeah.
feel. That's
No, I think we are conditioned to be super sensitive.
yeah,
pay attention. You should not sit like this. You should not walk like this. You are a girl. Wear dress like this. Don't talk to this. Especially our generation. It may not be as true now, but the present generation go through a lot of breakups or a lot of traumatic situations because there's an open society now. That doesn't mean they get all good experiences.
Correct.
Right. So, and because of maybe the physical strength, because of the way woman's body is made, we are vulnerable. We can say if we fight for equality and we say we are, whatever, but ultimately, we have to take on that feminine role. And the sooner I accept that no matter what I do in the external world, whatever I speak, I need to assume by the nature of my body the feminine role more than a masculine role. And that's it. That's all it is. I mean, there's nothing one better than the other. It is conditioning in the environment that has led us to that. And unfortunately, fortunately, even many parents teach or talk like this before their children. Teachers talk like this before their children. So conditioning is still happening. But sensing, that, again, sense of touch, right? Touch is not just physical touch. The way you look at somebody will make them cringe in their body or make them feel you're approachable. That is also the touch.
Yeah, correct.
So explore the meaning of touch also. He touched my heart. He said such beautiful something and it touched my heart. What does it mean? Right? So don't touch me like that. That is a physical touch. It touched my heart is something subjective and it varies from person to person. And that's all okay. As long as we don't take it to another extreme and we do not suffer in the process. And children will definitely do that. They're very sensitive to sense of sound. They do not want that sound to touch them. They close their eyes very hard, ears, sorry. They shut their eyes when they see the bright light. They don't want the light to touch them. So the discussion goes on and on that way.
I know.
All right, continue.
The sense of movement is perceiving one's own movement. Proprioception. The sense of balance is centeredness within oneself. Disturbed senses of movement and balance. The sad, withdrawn, dejected, brooding child. Inability to move with the world. Inability to freely imitate. Difficulty in engaging in creative play with other children. Inability to inwardly experience the imprinting of external sense impressions. Lack of spontaneity, joy, flexibility, or ability to conform. Poor articulation does not resonate within. Clumsy movement, difficulty sitting in chair in class, wandering during circle, recesses, games, looks lost, shocked when yelled at or dealt with in a strong manner, stranded in the midst of activity, panic if things get too hectic, inability to hold the thread in a conversation, sense of paralysis, helplessness, or being excluded.
Yeah. The fourth point, inability to inwardly experience the imprinting of external sense impressions. Again, you may have observed people are clumsy in their body. They just hit things around, they bump themselves against something. they don't know how far is this book from me, so they overreach it, or they extend unnecessarily to reach it. That's what you see again, many people. And the cause is, I mean, if you find such a person, if there is disturbed sense of movement and balance, they also have inability to inwardly experiencing the imprinting of external sense impression. So external sense is everything they hear, they see, they touch, they smell, they taste. So you may give them like spicy chutney, and 5 minutes later they may ask you, they may have been like screaming saying, oh, it's spicy, and why did you make it spicy? But then 5 minutes later they serve the same chutney and repeat the same thing again. Somewhere they cannot hold it within them. And we wonder why. We don't understand. I mean, you just had it, don't you understand? You just said it was spicy. But they don't. I mean, they're not doing it on purpose. Anybody you have seen, and anybody we tend to label or judge or gossip about, they are not, the other person is not doing it on purpose. Somewhere they don't know how to do it. And some of them may be intentionally avoiding us, intentionally speaking ill. Again, you go back, fear of abandonment, fear of being left alone, fear of being rejected. That camouflage. So it is not sense of movement, it is sense of touch, sense of insecurity. So this is probably the best, anytime you feel like complaining about somebody, or any conversation you listen to, you or both people are wanting to talk. No one is ready to listen. At least let us not become that way. I may have a deep urge to say, but question why. Am I lopsided in some way? And disturbed sense of movement. Movement is also internal movement. That's why there's a problem with balancing. There could be movement in thoughts and disturbed way of talking. Talking is also movement of your jaws. Externally, in the whole human form, it is about body not being in balance and just hitting things across. But there is also another element. Everything has this microcosm and the macrocosm. There's something bigger, something smaller, and something that reflects back to you. And it could be, it's interesting again, that you may be fine, but you keep coming across people who are disturbed in their movements. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe a friend of yours, maybe a colleague at school, maybe somebody you meet on the bus. You randomly keep attracting such people. Again, you have to question, what is it that I'm running into such people? Right? That's spirituality, that's anthroposophy. And we don't question, but we keep getting those. See, only some people get pickpocketed all the time. And you are traveling, you may even lose your purse, but you'll get it back. So this whole process becomes very interesting when we go a little deeper. Clumsy movement, clumsy talking, clumsy eating, clumsy sleeping, clumsy dressing. And they're completely oblivious. I have seen so many people, they button themselves upside down, they wear inside out. They don't even feel the discomfort.
After seeing, I will be discomfort.
Huh?
After seeing such type of people, I will be uncomfortable.
Exactly. And there's disturbance in you too.
Yeah.
Forget about them. I mean, why should I feel discomfortable when somebody is wearing their, buttons up, not aligned?
Correct.
So something in me that feels suffocating. I had a friend who used to wear very tight clothes, and looking at her, I would feel suffocated. Why? I don't have the answer, but then it is some disturbance in me too. So it's a sense of paralysis, the last point, a sense of helplessness or being excluded. It's like, again, paralysis is half of my body is not coordinating with the other half. Somewhere my right brain is not coordinating with my left brain. In other words, my right part of the body is not coordinating with the left part of the body. Where my speech is not coordinating with my larynx, the sound. Where one eye is not coordinating with the other eye. Yes, Shobha ma'am.
Ma'am, just now we were discussing about when we see such persons, we feel uncomfortable.
Mm.
And seeing those people, of course, when we feel uncomfortable, we get disturbed.
Mm.
Can we avoid that?
You have to work on yourself. See, we try to avoid. When we feel uncomfortable looking at somebody, we turn our face away and walk. But then you'll see them again, or you'll see similar people again.
Yeah, definitely.
But when you stare and look at it, what is it that I'm disgusted about? What is actually bothering me? Then you will begin to peel the layers and the process of healing begins. Otherwise, our coping mechanism has been blame, label, judge, somewhere feel that I'm superior to them. But if we look at our life so far, we have been doing only that. Right? I mean, I'd done this exercise one time, who do I truly like? Including me, I had nobody on that list. I like her for this, but then I don't like that in her. Somewhere I have this huge expectation. I think even if God came before me, I would not like him or her. So it is not about having, again, when I say perfect condition, I don't know what is perfect condition. It varies.
It varies eye to eye also.
Yeah. Person to person, situation to situation.
Then sometimes we need to be for such condition.
Yeah, this is again process of evolving, right? I mean, accepting that, yeah, if I go to Shubha's house, I may not get a comfortable bed to sleep on, but I'm not going there to get comfortable bed to sleep on, but I'm going there to play a game of chess. And as long as you get your game of chess in my house, you should be fine. Whether I feed you or not, whether I put you on the proper chair or not, whether I give you any other comforts or not, then I'm happy.
It is priority.
Yeah. Objective, setting it right. I mean, what I do is I want to come, but then expect everything else like the way I have it set up in my house for me or whatever that is. Simple thing here, you go to a restaurant, you order idli, and how many times we say, wow, wonderful, and eat it. They say it's cold, sambar is sweet, sambar is spicy. He didn't serve me on the right time. Look at, that's when Waldorf talks about reverence. Right? If you have an attitude of reverence, then you're thankful for everything that is coming into your space every moment. whether everything to evolve you. Some may look very much customized to your need. Some come in a dirty wrapper. Some come, and one of my mentors asked me one time, how many people are sacrificing so that you evolve? Because I'm labeling them bad, which means they're sacrificing their reputation with me, right? They have come to help me evolve. Do you even realize it? I'm like, oh my God, really? So the sense of reverence, sense of acceptance, let people be the way they are, let me be the way I am. All these are qualities that we have to develop over a period of time. It doesn't happen overnight. Some of us may be lucky that one thing just clicks. We are ready for it and it just falls in place. But many of us are not so lucky. So we have to take one. Now, every time we find ourselves complaining, that is a pointer. Why am I complaining about the other person, or the situation, or the condition, the weather, the food, the clothes, anything that is? So just take one at a time, be objective about it, and things will evolve. All right, I think we have overshot the time. Thank you all very much. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Good night, ma'am.
Good night.